We've talked about this being the 10th anniversary of the Heartland Hoops Classic, and Tino, I have to ask you, what does it mean to celebrate 10 years? And I know that you thought in your heart it'd probably make it this long, but man, that's longevity. And I don't know of any other tournament that ever made it that long. Obviously, there's none in existence that have any longevity like that. In fact, there's none in existence that have gone 2 in a row, have there?
Well, I mean, yeah, just different things, and people have used different formats, but I guess, for me, looking onto it, again, I think it just speaks volumes to the teams that we've had in our area. Because, I mean, let's face it, we haven't had the St. Cecilias, the Ravennas, and teams like that. Sumner, Eddyville Miller had a stretch where they had 2 or 3 good teams.
Yeah.
Amherst went through 2 years. If we don't have those teams in our area, okay, and we're always having to bring Omaha, I mean, it's not drawing and it's not surviving. And so I think it really more so than meaning anything to me is it celebrates the teams and the coaches and the programs that we've had in our area for such a long time. And I think that's the one thing I always feel the most appreciative about is we just got some really good programs in our area that have made the event go.
And I think that's key, like you said, and I remember a lot of people from Ewing coming down that time that they came down. So some will follow, but you're always going to get those close-in teams that bring their big crowd. St. Cecilia always has a big crowd, obviously, because it's close. What do you think makes this event great, Jimmy? I'm sure you've said it before, but...
Well, I think it's the willingness of the coaches to take some risks that you might lose this game.
Yep, there you go.
You can look at your schedule and you can sit back and go, whoa, for our wild card points and for everything else, a loss is really going to hurt us maybe. But if you really look at it, it's the willingness of some of these coaches to accept the fact that, hey, we might get beat today by this team. And because they count unless it's, if you play a school that is a contingent state, it counts on your wild card points. So if a Nebraska school would play a Kansas school, it counts on the wild card points. If they play somebody from Oklahoma, it would not. But the bottom line is that, and then the willingness to agree to say, hey, we kind of want to play Sydney, but it's not going to work out for everybody. We might have to play St. Cecilia. You know what I mean? And that's okay. We'll play St. Cecilia then, but some of those coaches go, God, I thought we could beat Sydney. I don't know if we can beat St. Cecilia. Or vice versa, or Columbus SCOTUS or Wahoo Newman, the willingness to play some of these people. And I think that's what really makes the event go. The willingness that Omaha South will agree to play Aurora.
That surprised me.
And last year, you know what? Omaha South played not Aurora.
Yep.
And if they lose that game, no one's going to say, hey. But, and really, I'll be honest with you, if Omaha South loses to Aurora this year, no one should be saying too much either, because Aurora's got a hell of a basketball team.
They do indeed. So from a player standpoint, Jake Hamburger, who coached St. Cecilia back then? I apologize for not remembering.
It was the year before
when
Coach Asher. Yeah, so it was Coach Strader helped at practices, and then we had Mike Alsman, he was in the head chair that game.
What did Coach Trader, for instance, say when you were going up against Ralston? Tino doesn't put games together that he doesn't think that the team that looks like maybe they're an underdog doesn't have a chance. What did you guys think? What did Trader say to you?
I'm going to interrupt. Don't you tell him, quote unquote, on TV exactly what Coach Trader said.
Well, no,
you change it to where it can be on record, because I know Coach Trader and I know what he really said.
I mean, he had us extremely well prepared, but I mean, in Coach Trader's mind, it's another. I mean, he might have put more time into it, but he prepared us the same way he prepared us for Adams Central GICC. Cool. I mean, we were very routine in the way we prepared for teams. So, I mean, he prepared us in the sense of we watched a lot of film. We were well prepared for the Smith brothers. They had a 6'9" kid inside who I think was related to Greg and Dwight.
Yeah.
So we had to prepare around him as well when the ball went into the post. So, I mean, he had us prepared, but what I think separates this among other tournaments is I looked at the Ralston Event Center had one of these things this year, and outside of Kearney Catholic, it was primarily all teams from the East. And what this Heartland Event Center thing does is it brings teams from the West and the East. It connects the state. When I was playing Greg, I got to know Greg after that game we played, and then we played in All-Star games after that. Yep. And he joked around. He said, I didn't know there was anything west of Lincoln. and he said, I didn't know there was running water west of Lincoln. You know, for those guys in Omaha to come out here, you know, they're seeing maybe a different part of the state that they've never seen. And so that's why I think it's so great, is because it connects the big schools with the small schools. It connects the east with the west. It just kind of, it's the Heartland Event Center Classic. It's the middle of the state. I think that's why it's lasted. And I think that's why it's such a great deal.
I think that's funny because people around here do not believe what Jake just said about these kids from Omaha, some of them. And, you know, if you go 15 miles past the Westro's Mall or whatever, there's cows and pigs out there, but they don't get out there. So this is a great experience for those kids, and it's true, some of them might think the world drops off at Lincoln, some maybe York, but it's mostly Lincoln. But yeah, that's interesting. So there was never, ever, well, we could lose this game. Never that big. Did you guys think you could win it?
I mean, we definitely thought we could win it. I mean, but at the same time, we understood that there's a chance that we could lose. I mean, yeah, every game you walk into, you got an opportunity to win, you got an opportunity to lose. But we were so focused on the process and so focused on the game plan that we didn't even think about the outcome. And that's what we continue to try to, you know, teach kids and on our team and kids when we work with them in the summers. It's not about the outcome; it's about the process and how do you get to that point. So you know, we didn't have that in our minds at all. We had to focus on the game plan. We had to focus on player tendencies. We had to focus on all that. And we just kind of let the scoreboard take care of itself.
Just a regular
preparation. Those 2 free throws by Dalton Seeley at the end of the game.
There you go.
We'd have Greg and Dwight Smith.
That's right.
That's right. What do you think the future for the Heartland Hoops Classic holds, Tino? My goodness, what do you change? It's been such a success story, and like everyone here has reiterated, including Edub here, you know, you look at teams, you know, I hate to say anything, but what Jake brought up in that Ralston thing, there was an 0-19 team in there, a girls basketball team, or 0-17, and I think their thought was just maybe let's draw the local people. But you have to have faith that the out-of-towners are going to come, or somebody that's just interested here, that a good matchup makes the whole deal.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think Eric could be able to maybe speak on the behalf of the fans' perspective, but I've always said as long as the event holds its own momentum and it's something, I mean, I get emails and calls and just in the last few weeks of, you know, teams and coaches and ADs wanting in.
Yeah.
So as long as that is taking place and it's still something that is supported by our community and our area, it's really good. I think, I will say that we do have a lot of I mean, you go to a Hastings College basketball game at 4 o'clock on a Saturday, okay, and you'll see a bunch of guys who don't have kids playing, don't have relatives.
That's great.
And then you'll see them, you go over to Hastings High later that night or Adams Central, where you'll see those same people traveling over to, I mean, we just have a lot of people like Eric. I mean, I've seen him at every event we've had. So people in our area, there's guys from Kearney, that come over every year just to watch every game. Larry Pritchett from out in
Larry from Grant,
Grant, out in Grant, Nebraska, comes every year, sits courtside for the whole day, and so we're blessed with a lot of great sports fans in our area that appreciate not just the opportunity to see a Grand Island Central Catholic play in their hometown. It's to see an Axtell versus Ewing or you know, teams that they wouldn't normally see. So I would say that, you know, for the near future, you know, we're definitely going to continue to do it. And hopefully I'm intelligent enough and maybe have enough wherewithal to realize when it has lost its momentum and to put it to rest too. But I don't see that happening in the near future anyway.
And let's get one thing straight, you're not going to retire for the money you make on this deal either, because I mean, it's just tough to do, man. There's a lot more that goes into it than, well, I'm going to, you know, but I mean, obviously if you don't, you can't continue it, but things are going good so far, so let's keep it rolling, that's what I say.